Hello, I'm Jeremy, and welcome back to Jeremy and You's Music Reviews. I listen to music and you hear my thoughts. Well, it's a new year and there are new albums. You know what that means? Album Quickies Part 6. Let's get started.
New whip, full garage, so I don't know where to put it. Used to ride the bike to school, look how far I took it. Invite her in a whip and tell her buckle up and push it. High heels so long, she can't even fit her foot in.
Token is one of my favorite rappers of all time. He has so many awesome bangers, has really great lyrical skills, and is just a very enjoyable artist. And for the longest time, I was extremely excited about his then upcoming album, Pink is Better. Unfortunately, Pink is Better was originally supposed to come out on October 8th, 2021, but got delayed because of sampling issues. But now that it's finally out, what are my thoughts on Pink is Better? It freaking rules. The opening track, A Little Different, is a very interesting opener that's very vibey and has good lyricism. Boom is a fantastic banger with a great guest verse from JID. Sip is a very interesting track that's very relaxing and unique. High Heels is an awesome jam with a really enjoyable guest verse from Rico Nasty. Chit Chat is pretty toe-tapping. Caught on Camera and Hot are both really cool bangers with enjoyably aggressive beats and awesome lyricism. Not Love is a fantastic chorus, is a great demonstration of Token's awesome lyrical skills, and has some cheat codes vibes. Pink is insanely soothing. Be Happy is a very immersive track with absolutely fantastic lyrics. Struck Gold has a very enjoyable toe-tapping beat, and Token's fast flow blends perfectly with said beat. Amsterdam is a freaking fantastic song with a really interesting, staticky beat, great lyrical flow from Token, and a really good Benny the Butcher guest verse. I Can't Help has an enjoyably staticky beat, an enjoyable Token performance, and two great guest verses from Digital Nas and Saint Leor, and Thank God is a very nice closer that brings the album to a nice soft landing. The only weak track on Pink is Better, at least in my opinion, is IOD. The production is nice, Token is good, and Lil Sky's guest verse is alright, but my god, that hook just brings the entire song down. It's just way too screechy for my tastes, and it ruins an otherwise decent song. But aside from that, Pink is Better is a really enjoyable rap album. The production is fun, Token continues to display his lyrical awesomeness, and all the features are well utilized. I will admit that PIB does feel samey at points, and it does kind of suck that the song Indentures isn't on the album, but it still manages to be an enjoyable experience. Check it out, and definitely check out Token's other stuff as well. It's really freaking good.
Off the strength, I'm not as numb as I thought. I'm broken links, my circle shrinking smaller. Satellite revolve, my core is a cauldron. Surrendered orbits, cross-check what's really real and what's performance. Speak for self, but wondering who else really on it.
I listened to some of Earl Sweatshirt's previous discography, and it's very solid. His songs are very relaxing, creative, and have a uniquely innocent, carefree vibe. Also, I get why a lot of people don't like East, but I think it slaps. As for his new album, Sick, my god is it a vibe. By far my favorite track is the one that got me to want to check this album out, Tabula Rasa. It is one of the most soothing things I have ever heard. The production is like if lo-fi took NyQuil, and both Earl and Armand give incredibly vibey performances that work amazingly with this fantastic production. But there are other great songs too. The lead single, 2010, is very interesting, with a glittery beat and an enjoyable performance from Earl. Lobby, parentheses, int, is very soothing and enjoyable. Vision is a very enjoyable collab with really creative production, soothing performances, nice lyricism, and a welcome addition in the form of awesome rapper Z-Loopers. Titanic has a phenomenal beat and an enjoyable performance from Earl. Lie is just an absolute vibe. The title track is a very soothing and fascinatingly enjoyable piece of calm. God Laughs is insanely calming, and Fire in the Hole is a really cool closer. Sick is just a very enjoyable album, capturing what made Earl's previous songs awesome while still being its own thing. The songs are just so relaxing and interesting, with unique production and enjoyably awesome, soothing performances from Earl. Definitely an album to check out if you like vibey rap songs.
Long as you ride, I couldn't give you up.
The Lumineers is an act I've heard discussed but never really had the time to get into. But I decided to review their new album, Brightside, out of curiosity. And as someone who isn't a full-on Lumineers fanatic, this album was pretty good. Like Sick, Brightside is a very relaxing listen. The title track is a very lovely opener that does a good job establishing the mood of the album. Big Shot is very nice and calming. Birthday is an incredibly soothing vibe. AM Radio is a very enjoyable and immersive track that does a good job calming you down. Where We Are has a bit of a sailor's ditty vibe, while still being as relaxing as the rest of Brightside the album. Remington is insanely relaxing, and Reprise is a really enjoyable closing track. Like An Evening with Silk Sonic, Brightside is a very short album, but it makes the most of it with a ton of very vibey tracks. If you like relaxing music or are wanting to get into the Lumineers, Brightside is a good album to check out. Not album of the year, but a very pleasant listening experience. Pogo is an awesome producer. He can take any piece of media and turn it into one of the most vibey things imaginable. In fact, I used one of his songs, Nicey Nicey, as the bumper for part 2 of my best songs of 2021 list. Anyways, Pogo dropped an album earlier in January, and like his other stuff, it freaking rules. The opening track, The Boss, perfectly sets the mood, with a flair that's both atmospheric and toe-tapping. Polka Dot Positive is a very fun vibe. Tears in Her Eyes is very fun and beachy. Supremo is very energetic and cool. Dragonfly is a straight banger, and Patty Cake is a very fun closer. Cosmoluxe is a very simple album. It's not trying to be anything grand or epic, it's just a simple album full of vibes and bops. And that's exactly what I like from Pogo. Definitely check out Cosmoluxe as well as other stuff from Pogo's discography. The dude is awesome.
Cause the heart wants what it wants, and what it wants is me and some chicken wings. Well, you like your curly fries, super size, sweet tea and some lemonade.
Samm Henshaw is a freaking awesome artist. His music is incredibly vibey and cool, and his voice is absolutely phenomenal. As such, I was really excited for his debut studio album, Untidy Soul. And my God, was it worth the wait. Grow is an absolutely soothing and awesome vibe. Chicken Wings is very catchy, and that part in the middle that simulates a drive-through speaker is really cool. Thoughts and Prayers is an incredibly amazing and toe-tapping song that reminds me of the band Lawrence. Mr. Introvert has phenomenal production, smooth as hell vocals, and really good lyrics. 816 is very immersive and relaxing. Mr. Introvert, Reprise, is a beautiful instrumental interlude. Loved by You is a very nice song with a beat that's both relaxing and catchy. Take Time is insanely soothing, has an amazing chorus, great vocals from Sam, and a pretty good guest verse from Toby Nwigwe, and yes, I did have to look up how to pronounce his last name. Water Break is a jazzy as hell instrumental interlude, but the intro is kind of startling, so if you're startled by really loud noises, just keep that in mind when listening to Water Break. East Detroit has a very glittery beat, and Sam's voice is very soft and nice. Enough has a very hard-hitting beat, nice vocals from Mr. Henshaw, and pretty good lyrics. Kenyon is another fantastic interlude with amazing trumpet work. The lead single, Still Broke, is very enjoyable, vibey, and serves as a good sequel to Henshaw's 2018 song Broke, and Joy is an absolutely beautiful closing track with an amazing beat, beautiful vocals, and a triumphant vibe that brings the album to an amazing close. Untidy Soul is a very good album that really shows the potential Samm Henshaw has as an artist. The highs are highs, the lows are non-existent, and every song is as relaxing as it is catchy. I highly recommend checking out this album, as it's a very good showcase of what makes Samm Henshaw such an awesome artist. Great job, Mr. Henshaw. Also, check out All Good and Sam's collab with Earth Gang Church. Both are also insanely good songs.
And I'm just trying to keep my daughters off the pole and my son's out of jail. Trying to get to church so I don't go to hell. I'm just trying to keep my wife from figuring out that I'm married up and she married way, way down.
I am one of the few music reviewers who doesn't hate Fancy Like. I definitely get why so many people hate it, but in my opinion, Fancy Like is a harmless, silly song that's fun to turn on when you want something dumb. And that, combined with the fact that AA is really good, is why I was looking at Country Stuff the album with an open mind. And after listening to it, I can say that Country Stuff the album is pretty good. Yes, seriously. Let's start with the tracks from the original Country Stuff EP. Fancy Like is an enjoyably silly guilty pleasure. The title track is a fun and enjoyably silly laid-back vibe. Make You Cry is a very nice and adorably sweet song. I Hope You Miss Me is absolutely fantastic. What If We Did is decent, and Briefcase is a very enjoyable track with a lot of atmosphere and a good contribution from Lori McKenna. And as for the new tracks, they're enjoyable as well. Let's start with my favorite track, AA. I love this song. I'll admit that the daughter off the pole lyric and the stuff about Alabama is kind of cringy, but everything else about this song is awesome. The production slaps. Walker's performance is both enjoyably laid back and incredibly energetic and fun. And my God, does that hook slap. I am a sucker for sing-songy choruses, and AA's chorus is a really fun one to sing along to, despite some cringy elements. And the other tracks are good too. Drinking Songs is a very nice opener, if a little commonplace, and the Siga Regrets line is pretty creative. Life With You is an absolutely gorgeous and sweet track. DeLorean is an incredibly toe-tapping banger with great vocals and nice lyrics. Craig, featuring Mercy Me, is a pretty good remix of one of Walker Hayes' best songs, and my God, What You Don't Wish For is just such a fantastic, warm, and immersive track. There are only two things that I don't like about this album: the cover and You Girl. The cover is incredibly bland. Just Walker leaning up against a brick wall and crossing his arms. And You Girl is an incredibly bland track that's forgettable at best and creepy at worst. But aside from that, Country Stuff the album is a very enjoyable experience. I'm sure this album is going to be eviscerated by a billion music critics, but in my opinion, it was pretty good. The production is solid. Walker manages to be incredibly likable and laid back, and the lyrics, sans You Girl, have a unique earnestness that really makes them enjoyable. Again, I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me on this, but Country Stuff the album is a solid experience that does exactly what it wants to do and does it well. I personally recommend checking it out, but if you hate Fancy Like, then I doubt you'll get as much out of this album as I did. AURORA is a very interesting artist. She has a very infectious confidence about her, and her songs have a very distinct folksy style. And while I wasn't blown away by her big hit Runaway, songs like Cure for Me, Giving Into the Love in the River really made Aurora an artist I wanted to check out further, which is why I'm reviewing her new album, The Gods We Can Touch. And for the most part, I really like it. The Forbidden Fruits of Eden is a very lovely instrumental interlude that was a good choice for an album opener. Everything Matters is incredibly vibey, cool, and toe-tapping. You Keep Me Crawling has a very lovely and danceable beat and beautiful vocals from Aurora. Giving Into the Love is an absolute banger with hauntingly beautiful vocals. Exist for Love is just an absolute vibe with a calming as hell beat and a hauntingly relaxing performance from Aurora. Heathens has a very calming, folksy vibe, yet is still very toe-tapping. Cure for Me is easily my favorite track, with phenomenal production, a great sample of the Office theme from Brazil, fantastic vocals from Aurora, and great lyrics that essentially say screw you to people who think LGBTQ people need to be cured. The Innocent has a phenomenal old-timey piano beat, really cool morphing instruments, and an enjoyably passionate performance from Aurora. Exhale Inhale is very vibey and immersive, and has a bit of a foreboding vibe. A Temporary High has an enjoyably retro beat that still keeps in Aurora's interesting style, and A Little Place Called the Moon is an absolutely fantastic closing track that's both bombastic and calming, ending the album on a very interesting note. The Gods We Can Touch is just a very charming, personal, and relaxing album. It's an album that only Aurora could have made, and her folksy charm and interesting characteristics shine throughout this entire album. If you like vibey songs or are looking to get into Aurora, The Gods We Can Touch is a very good record to check out. Great job, Aurora. I have no experience with Years and Years. I was introduced to them through the lead single of this album, Starstruck, and it turns out that this album, titled Night Call, is a solo joint from the lead singer, Ollie Alexander. So can Ollie Alexander hold up without the other Years and Years members? Yes. Yes, he can. The opening track, Consequences, is an absolute banger. Sweet Talker is a phenomenal track with great vocals from Ollie and amazing production courtesy of awesome production group Galantis. Crave is a very enjoyable track that's the perfect balance of spooky and groovin'. The title track is a solid banger with a real toe-tapping groove and infectious as hell vocals. Starstruck is a catchy as hell banger that was a great introduction to Years and Years. Intimacy is a solid track with a very interesting beat and lovely vocals. 20 Minutes has an incredibly catchy groove and really nice vocals from Ollie. Make It Out has very lovely production and very soft and enjoyable vocals. See You Again absolutely slaps, and Ollie's beautiful vocals complement the amazing production. Immaculate has an incredibly groovy beat, and Ollie's vocal delivery is very interesting. Muscle has a very pulse-pounding beat, and Ollie's voice is very confident, and Reflection is a very interesting, toe-tapping, and enjoyable final track, with a great beat, enjoyable vocals, and pretty good lyrics. Night Call is a pretty good album. Like Brightside, Night Call isn't an amazing album that pushes the limits of what an album can be. It's just a very solid and enjoyable experience. The tracks are all very good, ranging from incredibly catchy bangers to soft and inviting vibes. I honestly don't know if I could recommend this to a Years and Years fan, but if you like electronic music or relaxing vibes, give Night Call a chance. Good luck in your solo career, Ollie Alexander.
'Cause baby, you're perfect. You're perfect to me. Oh baby, you're perfect.
I love Kyle. The dude is such an infectious, fun, and enjoyably awesome rapper, with a fantastic voice and a likable demeanor. And his new album, It's Not So Bad, is a very solid listen. The opening track, Come On, has an incredibly funky beat and fantastic and infectious vocals from Kyle. Personal has a very hard-hitting beat, really cool chipmunk vocals, and Kyle is really likable. Perfect is jazzy awesomeness. Unreplaceable is incredibly toe-tapping. Kyle's vocals are incredibly infectious. And Craig David's guest verse is really good. Sunday has very vibey production, and Kyle's voice is very soft and nice. Love's theme song has an absolutely killer beat and very lovely vocals from Kyle. Optimistic has a very atmospheric vibe, really soft and enjoyable vocals from Kyle and Dougie F, and nice lyrics. Eternity is alright, and Beam's guest verse is really good, and Sleepyhead is a very lovely, relaxing track that ends the album on a fantastic note. It's Not So Bad is very enjoyable. Like Night Call, this album isn't anything special, but it's still a very fun and enjoyable listen that's well worth your time. If you want relaxing vibes, or as much of a Kyle fan as I am, check out this album. Fantastic work, Kyle.
It tore us apart, things you want, I'm not looking for. You're my best friend now. You're my best friend now. Oh.
And to end the video, we have The Weeknd's new album, Dawn FM. And it's really freaking great. The title track is a brilliant opener that perfectly sets the mood of the album. Here We Go Again is a very enjoyable track, although I do wish that Tyler the Creator's guest verse was a little longer. Phantom Regrets by Jim and A Tale by Quincy are brilliant spoken word interludes. Sacrifice is very toe-tapping. Best Friends is easily my favorite track, with phenomenal production, great vocals, and an incredibly infectious hook. Gasoline is really cool. Out of Time is absolutely fantastic. Starry Eyes is very lovely, and Less Than Zero is very toe-tapping. The only weak spot in Dawn FM is the lead single, Take My Breath. It's not exactly a bad song, but I never really clicked with Take My Breath because it never stuck out to me. I'm not a huge fan of Save Your Tears, but it felt like a unique song. But Take My Breath never felt unique. It's just a standard 80s throwback with no personality, no real energy or groove, and no charisma to make up for its lack of uniqueness. Again, not awful, but pretty especially in comparison to the rest of the album. But aside from that, Dawn FM is a fantastic LP. It's like if you combine the sound and vocals of After Hours with the dark and foreboding atmosphere and framing device of Ex-Ambassadors' The Beautiful Liar into one album. Heck, Phantom Regrets by Jim sounds a lot like Author's Note, the closing track of The Beautiful Liar. It's a brilliant mashup of two distinct styles that I highly recommend for those who haven't heard it. Great job, Abel. Keep being awesome. And that's it. Comment your thoughts on these albums and what albums you listen to throughout January. Until next time, this is Jeremy signing off. Ciao.